The coral reef shimmers like a living city beneath the waves, bursting with color, motion, and hidden drama. Sunlight pierces the turquoise surface and scatters into glowing shafts that illuminate forests of coral, drifting plankton, and darting schools of fish. Among these dazzling residents lives one of the ocean's most famous and misunderstood creatures, the clownfish, small, bright, and seemingly harmless. This striped reef dweller survives in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods on Earth. Tonight, we dive into their world to uncover a story of survival, partnership, transformation, and fierce territorial battles, told in the cinematic style of a National Geographic expedition into nature's most intimate secrets. Clownfish inhabit warm tropical waters across the Indian and Pacific Oceans. From Australia's Great Barrier Reef to the coral gardens of Indonesia and the lagoons of Micronesia, though they are only a few inches long, their orange, yellow, black, or pink bodies blaze with contrast against the reef, broadcasting their presence to predators. Yet they do not flee into open water like most small fish. Instead, they hover confidently around a living weapon. Sea anemones, whose venomous tentacles can paralyze or kill almost any intruder. For decades, scientists puzzled over how clownfish survive where others perish, and the answer would reveal one of the most extraordinary biological alliances in the ocean. As a clownfish glides among an anemone's stinging arms, microscopic secrets protect its skin. A special layer of mucus, lacking the chemicals that normally trigger anemone stings, allows the fish to weave through lethal tentacles untouched. Young clownfish must carefully acclimate to their host, brushing against it again and again in a ritual that looks almost suicidal, gradually building their protective coating. One wrong move during this delicate initiation can mean instant death. But those that succeed gain a fortress, shelter from predators, a safe place to sleep, and a breeding ground defended by toxic guardians. The anemone, in turn, gains its own advantages from the partnership. Clownfish chase away butterfly fish and other predators that nibble at the anemone's tentacles. Their constant movement stirs water, improving oxygen flow, while their waste provides valuable nutrients. Some species even lure prey toward the anemone with flashes of color and motion. This mutualism, where both partners benefit, has evolved over millions of years, forging a relationship so precise that many clownfish species will only live with one or two specific kinds of anemone. In the reef's ruthless economy, loyalty can be the difference between life and death. Hidden within this partnership is one of nature's most astonishing biological twists. Every clownfish is born male. Within a group, there is a strict hierarchy: a dominant female, a breeding male, and several smaller non-breeding males waiting in line. When the female dies, the largest male undergoes a dramatic transformation. Its body chemistry shifts, its reproductive organs change, and it becomes female. The next largest male steps up as her partner. This rare phenomenon, known as sequential hermaphroditism, ensures that reproduction continues without delay, even in the chaotic and dangerous world of coral reefs, where survival is never guaranteed. Courtship among clownfish is a high-stakes ritual played out in tight quarters beneath swaying tentacles. The breeding pair cleans a patch of rock near their anemone, scrubbing it with mouths and fins until it gleams. The female deposits hundreds, or even thousands of eggs in neat clusters, each one glowing orange in the filtered sunlight. The male becomes a tireless guardian, fanning the eggs to keep them oxygenated and driving away curious intruders, many times his size. For days, he rarely leaves, sacrificing feeding opportunities to protect the next generation. As the embryos develop, silver eyes appear inside the translucent capsules, a signal that hatching night is approaching. When darkness falls and currents shift, the eggs burst open in a flurry of microscopic larvae, swept instantly into the open ocean. Here, the reef's safety vanishes. Planktonic predators lurk everywhere, and only a tiny fraction of the drifting young will survive the perilous weeks ahead. Carried by tides, they must feed, grow, and avoid becoming a meal, all before instinct drives them back toward the reef in search of an anemone they have never seen before. Returning home is a sensory miracle. Juvenile clownfish detect chemical signals released by coral reefs, and even the specific scent of their host anemone species. Guided by these invisible trails, they navigate currents like living compass needles, descending into reef labyrinths where every crevice could conceal a predator. Finding an unoccupied anemone is a matter of life or death. Too many clownfish and violent battles erupt. Too few, and the anemone's defenses weaken. The balance of each tiny community is constantly shifting, shaped by competition, storms, and the relentless pressure of the sea. Despite their small size, clownfish are surprisingly aggressive defenders of their territory. They lunge at intruders, snap their jaws, and chase away fish many times larger than themselves. Their confidence comes from proximity to the anemone, darting back into the tentacles whenever danger escalates. Even scuba divers are sometimes greeted with bold charges from these miniature guardians, a reminder that in the wild, courage is often measured not by size, but by determination. The world they inhabit, however, is changing faster than at any point in human history. Coral reefs are among the most vulnerable ecosystems on Earth, threatened by warming oceans, pollution, overfishing, and acidification. When water temperatures rise, corals expel the algae that give them color and energy, turning ghostly white in mass bleaching events. Anemones can suffer too, shrinking or dying, leaving clownfish suddenly homeless. Without their toxic allies, these fish become easy prey, and entire social groups can vanish almost overnight. Scientists across the globe are racing to understand how resilient clownfish might be in the face of climate change. Some populations show surprising flexibility, forming partnerships with new anemone species or adjusting to warmer waters, while others struggle. Researchers tag individuals, monitor reef temperatures, and even study genetic differences that might help certain groups adapt. In controlled experiments, young clownfish exposed to warmer conditions sometimes grow faster or change behavior. But whether these adjustments will be enough to keep pace with rapidly shifting oceans remains one of marine biology's most urgent questions. Human fascination with clownfish has also reshaped their destiny. Popular culture transformed these once obscure reef dwellers into global icons, increasing demand for aquarium pets and sparking new interest in coral reef conservation at the same time. In some regions, careful management and captive breeding programs have reduced pressure on wild populations, while in others, illegal collection continues to threaten fragile reef communities. The story of the clownfish has become intertwined with our own, a symbol of how curiosity can inspire both exploitation and protection. Beneath the surface spectacle lies a deeper lesson about cooperation and resilience. The clownfish and its anemone remind us that survival in nature is rarely a solo endeavor. It is built on alliances forged over evolutionary time, on delicate chemical negotiations, invisible to the eye, and on social systems that can reshape biology itself. Their lives unfold in miniature dramas, territorial skirmishes, romantic partnerships, risky migrations, and miraculous transformations, played out daily among coral branches and swaying tentacles. As our dive comes to an end, the reef fades into twilight, and bioluminescent sparks flicker in the darkening water column. Somewhere within a glowing anemone, a clownfish pair tends their eggs, continuing a cycle that has persisted for millions of years. Whether that cycle will endure into the next century depends in part on choices made far above the waves, in cities and industries thousands of miles from these fragile ecosystems. The clownfish may be small, but its story is enormous, a window into the complexity of marine life and the fragile threads that hold Earth's ecosystems together. In the dance between fish and anemone, predator and prey, warming seas and stubborn survival, we glimpse the future of the oceans themselves. And as long as these tiny striped sentinels continue to hover among poisonous tentacles, flashing bright colors against living coral, they remain ambassadors of a world still full of wonder, danger, and hope beneath the surface of the sea.